nationwide news service, Truth in Broadcasting, your source for unbiased media.
Industrial farming. Is it really a better alternative to what we already have, or are the costs in pollution, loss of jobs, animal cruelty and destruction of landscapes more than they're worth? For more on this issue, we go to Leighton, Wales.
We're here in Leighton, which is right outside Welshpool in Wales. We're going to discuss agribusiness, which is coming to this small community. Not only is it coming to this small village, it's going right next door to this school. What they're proposing is a dairy farm. It's an industrial mega farm with slurry tanks just about 100 yards from this location right here.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fine. I'm the Chair of Governors at the lovely little school behind me. And this is Roger Clegg, who's a local resident who's very concerned about the mega farm that's going to be built just 100 yards away from the school. And we're very, very concerned about the closeness of this because it could affect the school. Parents won't want to have their children come into a school so close to such a huge farm. I'll pass you over to Roger for some comments.
This is the only mega dairy proposed so close to a village and a village school, including the community centre, which is the heart of the village. There are also a number of residences well within smelling distance, sorry about that, of the farm, and we're very concerned that although there'll be added pollution, it is not proposed to monitor it till after the farm is built, and by then it'll be far too late.
We've got a member of the European Parliament, Nick Griffin, who lives in this region, and what I'd like to ask you, is this a issue that's affecting all of Europe, and what is the general consensus feel for these industrial farms?
Yeah, Jerry, well, as you'll probably hear, I think local people are very worried and angry about it. Out of all the issues that I as an MEP get in my postbag, concern from animal lovers about agribusiness, industrial farms is probably one of the biggest. And within the European Parliament as well, there's a lot of recognition this is a problem not just in Britain, you're here in Wales and in my constituency in the northwest, but all over, Poland especially. There's a huge issue with giant pig farms, which are putting all the small farmers out of business, which are absolutely catastrophic for the environment, the amount of slurry and waste that they produce. And there's a lot of recognition of it. Within Parliament, quite a few MEPs take the side of their constituents and the animals and so on. But of course, there's an awful lot where money talks right, and big business is buying their support.
What I seem to have found that the general public votes against this, maybe 80–90%, but it seems to come through anyway. Can you explain how that happens?
Yeah, like I said, money talks and everything else walks.
Okay, well, there's your a good blunt answer. Now I'm standing at the Holy Trinity Church, which is in Leighton, literally 700, 800, 900 yards from the proposed mega dairy. This church was designed by Pugin, who designed the Houses of Parliament. So someone up here had some connections. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful inside. But you can kind of get a grasp for the community when you look at this, you look at the school, you look at some of the homes around. Not particularly probably the best place for a mega dairy or a mega farm, agribusiness. Jeff, this industrial farming is not typical to this area, is correct?
Not at all, no. This is the only example of mega farming in this part of Wales.
Well, it's strange to me because we have it in the United States. We've had it for a while. We call it agribusiness. Not all the people are in favor of agribusiness either, but when it does happen, it's way out in the middle of nowhere. We have plenty of land in the United States, so it's 50, 100 miles away from where people live, not alone next to schools. Do you see this as being a trouble? There could be a certain amount of damage done environmentally being so close to where people work, play, and have schools.
Yeah, I mean, we're very concerned about pollution from a various number. I mean, dust, smell, and the actual increase in traffic will be huge. And this is right next, within 100 yards of the school. And I just don't think parents will be that pleased about this, because, you know, they've got to bring their children on a busy road with huge farm tractors around. And I think it'll put parents off.
Well, Roger, I know you were a businessman in Welshpool for a while. So looking at this from a economic standpoint, I guess you have the choice of taking your child to one school or to another. I personally wouldn't want my child playing next to a slurry tank. Do you see an economical disadvantage to this as well? And you know, how many people does this tiny school employ, or how many would it take out of the local economy?
There's about 18 to 20 people it would affect directly from the school should the school close. That is a sheer danger, and the danger that parents won't want to bring their children to so close to a mega farm is serious. If the school closes, it has a knock-on effect with the village hall, because the school helped to fund the village hall, and that would absolutely decimate the village.
And how many students attend this school?
Between 70 and 80.
And how many years has it been in existence?
Only 150.
Only 150. Relatively new, right? By your standards, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, and you know, another thing is, as I look across this valley, it's just stunningly beautiful. It's kind of like what we would picture someone writing the fairy tales, like Peter Rabbit sitting here, looking across here, writing a tale like that. And having something like this in your neighborhood or community village, is this going to have a visual impact also?
Oh yeah, we've got all the major environmental agencies, the CPRW, the National Trust from Paris Castle across the valley there. They've all written objecting strongly to it. And so we're not on our own.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Paris Castle is the most popular National Trust visit for Wales.
Right.
And it's just across the valley from this.
Yeah, it sits right over here.
Just over the valley, and it will look straight onto the farm.
And I suppose you might get a few aromas that are not flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The another question that I have is on animal welfare, or what we call animal cruelty. These animals can't graze; they're locked inside of a barn.
Yeah. I mean, I am concerned about that.
Right.
Some people aren't, but I would prefer to see family farming. Cows eating grass out in the fields.
Right.
I don't think it's a nice way to look after animals, to be honest.
We're on a farm about 100 miles north of Leighton in England, and this appears to be what is a typical farm here in England and in Wales. It's open grazing pastures, plenty of ground for the cattle to roam on. There seems to, I think there's probably approximately 25 head of cows here. I'm not sure putting these animals inside prisons to produce milk is a good thing. We have commercials of dairy products. It's about cheese, but it's from California, and they have a beautiful mountain, and it says happy cow, or California produces happy cows, which produce great cheese. So I don't see these cows being happy Welsh cows.
No, we don't see them as happy cows either.
They're not happy at the moment, so what they'll be like then, I don't know.
Well, what really upset me, Roger, was the response of the community council about this huge farm going up. I mean, they came to a meeting, and they attended our meeting at the village hall, where the vast majority voted against it, and they still supported the application, which we find is not supporting the local community.
Yeah, the local community would not like to see this wonderful landscape you see behind us covered in farm buildings, and there's no way we've got these same amenities and the same quality of life after it rebuilt.
Yeah, well, when you think, you see that beautiful hillside behind you, and you won't be able to see it.
None of it, no.
None of it.
No. Also, the vast amounts of slurry produced. There'll be 2 tanks further down the road, massive slurry tanks, that you could fit the village hall in, each of them, 3 times.
Yeah.
What happens if one of those has an accident and bursts its banks? How is that going to pollute the river, which is only 100 yards further down the field?
And on a floodplain.
And it's all on a floodplain.
I mean, we're assured by the Environment Agency they'll monitor it, but we find that that's just a cop-out, because really, what's monitoring after it's made and after the farm's up?
Too late.
It's too late.
Too late completely.
In this controversy, I got to ask you, have you had trouble with milk production in Wales or England in the last 20 years? Have you run out of milk on the shelves?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of, and in fact, there's greater demand for organic milk in Wales than there's ever been.
So there's a need for increased production of organic milk, which lends to smaller farms, well managed, producing their own feedlot for the herd on their own ground.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. True.
Which that's what makes it organic, right?
That's what makes it organic.
And so there is really no need for these multi-agribusinesses to come to this region or to even be introduced here at all.
No, it's pure greed.
Right.
They are trying to maximise their profits at the expense of the local people.
And you're gonna lose this
We're
beautiful
gonna lose
view.
that. We're going to lose the beautiful Grade 2 listed church. As you come into the village, that's what you see now. It'll be gone.
And you was just telling me a little bit of history that this is actually a footpath, and just on the other side of that hilltop is England, and this is Wales.
That's right. It's Offa's Dyke, runs right across the top of Long Mountain. The other side's England, and it was when was Offa? He was an English king, and he had a parliament in Machynlleth, in Wales.
It was before my time.
But well before our time.
But it's going to cover up a little bit of that part of that history also.
It's going to block that out completely. Yes.
Well, you certainly have a beautiful country here. Countryside, and
Thank
I do believe that it's important that you try to maintain that, and because once that's shot, once pollution happens, once industry happens, you can't go back.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah. The other problem, of course, as the farms become bigger and bigger, the smaller farms are going to go out of business. It's one of the arguments of the bigger farm now, is that there's so many dairy farmers are going out of business they cannot make a living from it. But this will only accelerate that situation.
Yeah, the agribusiness helps to accelerate the small farmer going out of business because they can't compete.
Exactly.
Yes, that's right.
And as the larger corporations like Tesco's move in, they really don't want to deal with the small farmers either. They would rather deal with the mega corporates. So it's kind of like a loss-loss situation for the smaller individual.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's like
yes.
coming down a helter-skelter. You
Yes.
can't stop it.
And it's wrong to put over the fact that small farms can't be sustainable. They are sustainable.
Right.
But that's the lies that's been put out by these mega farms.
Right. And you have approached your local councils and governments, and they seem to do nothing or ignore the presence of the community that don't want this to happen?
Well, we held a meeting in the village hall here, and the vast majority of the local residents voted against this. And it was attended by the local Fordham and Trellistan and Leighton council. And when we put all our objections to them in writing, and they still passed it. And we were amazed, because basically a community council should support the local community.
That's what they're put in a position for.
That's what they're there for, yeah.
Exactly.
Isn't it great to have people like Holly and Roger and Jeff so passionate defending their school, their community, and also the bigger issues, such as the way in which these agribusiness cattle prisons are going to put other farmers out of business, they're going to distort the economy, and of course there's the animal welfare issue. To me, in the end, really that's the important thing. I don't think that this proposed development should go ahead in Leighton. I don't think it should go ahead anywhere, because as well as putting other people out of business, it's a matter of animal welfare, it's a matter of human decency. We like the cattle's milk and the meat. We've got a duty to keep them properly, and cattle kept properly are out in the open air, eating grass, doing what cattle do naturally, and not kept in a prison. So if they're planning to build one of these monstrosities anywhere near you for cattle or pigs, please get involved, like Holly and Roger and Jeff. Get involved, do something about it. If you don't know what to do, come on the internet, find us, and we'll pass you the information that we've got from people like Holly and Jeff, and together we can make a difference and keep cattle out here in the wild eating grass like they should do. Thank you very much.